Every club. Every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Daily Newcastle podcast. And by this time, I'm sure when I'm on with these two, we're doing it on purpose, where we always start with just something which isn't the intro we are supposed to use. If you are watching on YouTube, you already know who I'm with. If you are listening, then I'm with Ginger Joe and Nasty Nick. So two lovely people. Are you all right? Are you doing okay? How are you? I mean, there's lots to talk about, but we'll come to that in a second. Just a well-being check to start with, because it's emotional being a Newcastle fan at the minute. I'm going to go to Joe first, because she's more emotional. Joe's twitching and ticking. So, Joe, how you feeling?
Joe's having an emotional overload over here. No, I'm good. Like, all jokes aside, I'm good.
After it all, move on. We'll come to it in a second. Nick, are you all right?
I'm borderline mental breakdown, but I'm good. Yeah, all good.
Okay. This is going to be a fantastic episode. Right, I mean, we can't start anywhere else. Unfortunately, I didn't want to come back to this Alexander Isak. I've said on previous pods, I am about to change my tune. I've said on previous pods, he's a human being, and it's very sad that it's got to this, and maybe there's mix-up with the agent, and his agent's well out of his depth because the rest of his clients added up together on what Isak's worth. And I've said all this, right? And I've tried so hard to be positive about this situation, as hard as it is to be positive. However, I do not understand how anybody can be positive about the news which broke yesterday morning, and that news is that Alexander Isak will not play for Newcastle United, even if he's not sold. So he's pretty much going on strike. It's from David Ornstein. It's a reputable source. It's all over now. Sky Sports, TalkSport, anything you can think of. It's common knowledge now that he's got no interest. That was another thing. He's got no interest in being reintegrated into the squad. He's just not going to play for Newcastle United. So I'm gonna let you guys go first because I'm a gentleman, but you can imagine my disbelief when I've been seen as a human being. Be kind. It's sad that he feels like he has to leave a region, to then come out with he will never play for Newcastle again. Whew. Let's start with it. Right, how we're feeling as fans. I'm going to go to Joe because I know Joe's got loads to say on this, and I also know Joe's done a little bit of therapy, which I'll let her explain. In regards to Alexander Isak, so go on, Joe, take it away. How are you feeling about this whole
I think this is why
situation?
I'm feeling a bit better, you see, because about 10 minutes ago, I was obviously raging. So I took my wonderful £100 Carabao Cup frame thing that I got with, Burns celebration, he who shall not be named celebration, and then the team with the trophy. And, it's looked lovely on my wall all this time, hasn't it? And it's, it's next to where I work, so, I need some good vibes while I'm working. Today while I was working, I looked up at it a couple of times, and I'm not going to say what I thought in my head. And then I got the end of my shift. I was like, it's got to go. It has to go. So I thought, I'm not destroying the whole frame. However, I did take it apart from the back. I removed the Isak photo. I then, with the encouragement of my husband, burnt the Isak photo in the back garden. And then I've replaced it with Eddie Howe, because really, rightfully, he should be there anyway. So it does look so much better now. And yeah, it has been a bit therapy, I'll be honest, because to say we despise the man is just, it's turned you, Kev. You were trying to, like you've just said, we're trying to pull the whole, he's a human thing. He's a scum of a human being, I agree, but he's a human being. I'm absolutely done with him now, and I'm kind of going to laugh and rant at the same time here, because, what else can you do? But come on, man. What on earth is going on? Like, who the hell does he think he is?
Hang on.
You've even got Liverpool fans now not wanting him. Granted, if you went, they would probably start kissing his backside and loving him if they were scoring goals. But as it stands at the minute, they're all turning around going, we don't want that rat. What the hell's he done, man? Nick, please take over, go, man. Just say it, man. Go on.
Yeah, what she said.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of blame on Alexander Isak's agent, isn't there, from the early days of when he wanted to explore his options, and how that could have been handled a little bit better, and what did he actually mean by exploring his options. Cut the crap. Yes, okay, his agent has got a part in it. Alexander Isak's clearly his money maker, or however you want to call it, but Alexander Isak has to take full responsibility for this, man, because this behaviour, I don't care how good of a player you are, what your value's worth, what you've done for the club, and you've drove us, you scored the winning goal at Wembley, whatnot. You can only do so much until this behaviour becomes absolutely unacceptable and, quite frankly, disgusting. And not only that, I'm really trying hard not to swear, but he's absolutely done himself over, hasn't he? Because any respectable club, and I don't care if you're the Liverpools, the Man Cities, the Manchester Uniteds, Real Madrids, PSGs, whoever you are in the world, any respectable club would be looking at this and thinking, I don't want that player. This is like the Mbappe situation all over again. When he refused, I'm not obviously comparing them to players, by the way, but this is like this situation all over again. I don't care how good you are or how good you think you are or, what your values were. You ain't bigger than your club, mate. You ain't bigger than it. And if you're going to go on strike, then you've absolutely screwed it for yourself because you're in a World Cup year. Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, it's mental for me. I mean, I remember saying on a pod about 2 weeks ago, maybe a week ago, that Newcastle fans need to be careful because it could be a situation where Isak is lining up for Newcastle again this season. Because up until that point, I thought if he doesn't get his move, like you said, Nick, it's a World Cup year, he's going to have to play. He's going to have to come. I made up a statement and I went to use two and I said, if he made this statement, would it make it better? Is this his way back? After this, I don't know if there is a way back. I think the forgiveness after this is I don't know how you do it. I've got a kind of clip here. It's from Isak talking. It was actually Talk Sport kind of shared it. It was Simon Jordan and who's the other guy?
I listened to this earlier. I know what you're talking about.
Anyway, they interviewed Isak after a game, and this is what Isak had to say about playing Newcastle. This was in March, by the way. So this was early March, and this is what Isak was talking about Newcastle, or he was talking about Newcastle in this way. Have a listen.
I love it here, and I love playing in front of this crowd and these fans, and we just want to keep winning. I just want to do good and keep scoring goals, and we will all be happy.
I love it here, and I love it.
So I didn't cut it right at the right time, but you get what I'm trying to say is, what's mental is that was March, right? And I know loads of fans will jump on the comment here and say, oh, well, you can't believe what we say. We all love the club until a better one comes along. And I understand that, I truly do. But what is absolutely crazy is the commentaries came out and said, I will not play for Newcastle again after he's had tifos for more flags, which if anybody doesn't know, Newcastle fans pay or they contribute to war flags to make these displays for the players. Isak had a full stadium pretty much. He had the Gallagher with his two nationalities in his Alexander the Great. And then on the other side had Isak in the big Swedish colours, just his name across the whole Leazer's end. So fans have paid to do that for him. Fans have worshipped him, idolised him. And I know players leave, right? I know they want bigger and better things. I know they want to win trophies. This isn't because of that. It's the fact he's going on strike. How on earth do you come to a club, in my opinion, 30 appearances and 6 goals at Real Sociedad? We signed him for £64 million, right? 6 league goals in Spain, by the way. Sociedad weren't a bad team. We won the Spanish Cup. So 6 goals, we take him in. And what really annoys me about this, and this won't surprise anybody, is Eddie Howe has tried to back Alexander Isak to the hilt over and over again. He played the stupid injury line, which the club probably asked him to play, and he did it. He did it for Isak. He said he's got an injury, that's why he's not here. I'm going to try and protect him, right? He didn't take him to Celtic and said, oh, it's because I didn't want to distract him with everybody asking why I wasn't playing. He has made Eddie Howe look stupid, and Eddie Howe has give him almost everything he's got right now in terms of reputation, in terms of the sheer superstar he is now. Look, don't get me wrong, Sociedad had something to do with it in his team in Sweden, his international record, and all this stuff, but Eddie Howe set up a team for him. He played Jacob Murphy because he knew he would cross the ball on his right foot and Isak would get more goals. He put Gordon on the right because he knew he would cross the ball for Isak and get more goals. He put Isak on penalties over Wilson. He put Isak, he gave Isak everything he could have wanted to succeed. Now, I get that you want to leave, right? I get that you want to go to Liverpool. I'm not mad at that. But to then throw Eddie Howe under the bus, who has made you a hero of this club, that's the worst part for me. I know going on strike's unforgivable. I'll let all the other fans have a say on that, and I agree with them. It's absolutely disgusting. However, the bit which really irks me is you've got a manager there who has hid behind so many different excuses to protect you, to give you a way back to this club if it didn't go through or whatever. He protected you so much to give you a way back, and you have completely just ruined it. That's the bit which irks me on this. And what makes it worse with that interview is I love playing here, I love scoring goals. I get he's going to say that, but that was literally about 3 months ago. Now that's scary. That's the scary part for me, is how quickly it's changed. I don't know what's happened in between then, gentleman's agreement, all of this stuff. I've got no idea. Before we go to an advert, I'm going to ask you one more question, because I know this is going to get thrown at Newcastle fans coming up, and it's inevitable. But with Johan Wies's situation, I think there is a slight difference. I think we're both in the wrong, by the way. I think Isak more so. But I'll come to why I think that. I want to get your opinion on it first. Nick, it's going to be chucked at Newcastle fans. Wissa, he's going on strike with Brentford. Why would you want him? Why are you going to sing his name when he comes to St James's Park? Because it's exactly the same. What's your response to that as a real Newcastle fan? Let's get a real reaction.
Well, I don't, is the honest answer to that. I said this last week when we were on, and I said it the week before. There's a way and means of going about things. If you want to move to a club, that's fine. Express that, but also respect that club that has pretty much made you who you are at that point as a player. You're not bigger than your club. So I don't understand these players that go on strike and refuse to play, or, like you say, completely chuck it in their manager's face or the fans' face. It's just not thinking. So I'm going to be honest. If that's the kind of attitude he's going to have, then I don't want it.
Fair. Joe?
I don't answer that.
Do you want Wissa?
I mean, like what she said before, what she said. No, but it's true, isn't it? Come on, like, we're not going to be hypocrites here. I think the Visa thing comes down to the fact that we're so desperate for a striker right now. We kind of just like the idea that someone wants to come and play for us. And I'll be totally honest, that's the only reason I want him right now. Not the only reason. Look, it's a proven goal scorer. I think he could do a good job for us. I do not agree with what he's doing, though. Absolutely not. So yeah, that's where, yes, if he comes to us and yes, he scores goals, yes, I'll sing his name. But what did I say right at the start while I was having an absolute fit? If Liverpool fans, who are now turning around saying that they don't want Isak, end up signing Isak, they will also in turn sing his name, support him if he's scoring goals. It's unfortunately the way football goes. So yes, we're going to hate Isak because he's hurting our club. Brentford will hate Visser. He's hurting their club. That's the way it goes, right? It really is. And but at least we're being open and honest in the fact we're not hypocritical. We're not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, it's completely different. Visser's got a complete free pass and Isak's an a-hole. They're both idiots in that sense. But yeah, I do still think the Isak situation is that bit worse. I've got to be honest. And I think most people will agree with that. Hence the reason, the kind of big news over it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me it's so there's loads of gentlemen's agreement in football. We have no idea, and we haven't heard anything throughout the whole season until recently with people chucking stuff out that was a gentleman's agreement with Isak. However, it's well known, or it's been reported by, I think it was reported by Romano and maybe Keith Downey, I think, mentioned this. That there was a gentleman's agreement with Wissa that if a Champions League club came in for him, they would allow him to leave. So I think that's where he's a little bit annoyed and he's refusing to train. I get that is wrong, but I don't think he's actually come out and said, I will never play for Brentford again, no matter what. That for me is a big difference. That's what's irked me. That's what's changed my mind. Because, like you guys mentioned at the start, I'm all about being kind. I'm not going to come on here and spout stuff about Isak and letting them rot and stuff like that. Because I still haven't got that in us, I don't think. But what's disappointed me is the way he's kind of threw it back in Howe's face. That's what really, really, really bugs me. Because like I say, go back to Sociedad, go back to Saudi, score 6 goals a season. That's where you were before you came to Newcastle. Now, I'm not saying Newcastle have made you that. I'm not saying it's just Eddie Howe or it's the players around you, but it's had a bloody big impact on you being what you are. To then come around and say, I'm not going to play ever again is for me, that's unforgivable. I don't think there is a way back now. I was saying previously there was a way back. I was saying that there was something there, but yeah. Anyway, we're going to have to go for a very quick break. Now, I've got an audio. I hope it's Bioniq. If it's not Bioniq, I apologise in advance, right? But we'll see what it is. A little bit unprepared because we've all got, well, actually, we haven't all. Just me. I've got childcare duties and I've rushed into this episode. So here's our first advert. If it's not Bioniq, they're our best sponsors.
Enjoy.
If it's something else, happy free advertising.
Here at Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform. Zencastr came out the clear winner. With 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs, it's super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencastr.
We have just went back in time. I don't know where that came from. I don't know who uploaded that, but I just saw an advert and I thought it was a Bioniq. Anyway, check out all the links in descriptions on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube of Bioniq and obviously Zencastr. Anyway, let's get back to this. So, Isak said he's never going to play for the club again. We've shared our views on that. I think it's going to be a hot topic coming up. Do I think he will definitely never play for the club again? It's impossible to say in football. You never say never. But my God, he's got a hell of a long way to backtrack now compared to what he did have. I'm about the positives. We'll come to you in a second, Nick, right? Because I'm about the positives. So I'm going to come out with a positive here. Finally, right? Finally, Newcastle aren't the laughingstock anymore, and we have people like Bioniq and Ali McCoist defending us.
Yeah.
What's happening? Listen to this. It's so big. This has never happened before, right? Because we all know the media hate Newcastle. We all know the media hate Newcastle. We all know they love to have a laugh at us, right? But actually, listen to this.
Let loose. Wow.
I mean,
Wow. Who does he think he is, by the way?
correct.
Like, listen, I can have banter with Newcastle, but like, who do you think you are, mate?
Correct, mate.
Who do you think you are? Disgusting. What that club's done for you.
And by the way, have a think about this.
Jesus.
Have a think about this. If you're Liverpool, or you're Liverpool fans, is that the kind of person you want to be signing?
I mean, wow, Bioniq defending Newcastle.
I know.
What's going on? Are the media finally coming to on Newcastle's side? Are we actually going to be allowed to spend money now for Premier League? Listen to that and think, the media is starting to like Newcastle. Can we open up the room? This could be amazing for us. We're finally not hated anymore. We're not rejected FC. We're not all this crap. Thank you, Alexander Isak. You've actually somehow united Bioniq, Talk Sport, Ali McCoist and Newcastle fans. How's that happening? Anyway, I could have played that at the start, but I didn't want to because I want that to lead us into what we're going to talk about next. Clearly, ex-footballers, pundits, other kind of professionals in this. I mean, we're not professionals, but people who are professionals in the industry are saying that Isak is massively in the wrong. Now, we've got to go to player power, all right? This can only end one of two ways at the minute with what's been said, right? One, Isak doesn't get sold, genuinely goes on strike, and doesn't play for us again, and he has to be sold in January for a cut price, or somehow runs his contract down, but we carry on paying him 120 grand a week. I can't imagine that happening. So that means the most likely thing now, because Isak's took the power himself, Newcastle can't possibly turn down an next bid, can they? He just can't. He's come out and said he's not going to bid. If you turn down a bid, you look like an idiot. So we have to accept something. Now, it wouldn't surprise us if Liverpool came in below 110. That would be a right kick in my teeth because we turned that down when we thought Isak was happy to kind of reintegrate and come back in. What happens next then? So I think we all agree we have to sell. What number do you accept now? I know when we spoke about this previously, it was 150, 140, 110 plus Nunes. Nunes has gone to Saudi Arabia. What happens next then? What bid do we accept? Do we just accept the next bid that comes in no matter what? Or do you still try and stand firm? This is such a big question because if you stand firm, you are paying a player I think he's on £120,000 a week to not even sit on the bench. He's not even going to come off the bench for us at this stage. So why would we pay him 120 grand a week for X amount of weeks up until January when we're going to have to sell him in January for what, half the money or a third of the money of what he's offering now because he only have 2.5 years left on his contract? This is a horrible situation for the club. What's the right thing to do? Joe, where we're going with this?
I'm totally torn on what you've just said, I've got to be honest, because I say let him rot, quite frankly. And I think the owners, I'm all in on Isak.
Think of the money you lose.
Nah, I think the owners are kind of thinking along that line because they came out first, didn't they, and said you're not being sold. They they put their stake in the ground, so to speak, before he really threw his toys out the pram. So I think, and I want them to be, by the way, I want them to be stubborn as hell on this, like even if it means costing more. I do not want us to back down and let him get what he wants, especially in this summer. I want that man to have nothing. I am so against, I've never been against a player who's played for Newcastle United like I'm against Isak right now.
Can you believe?
And I'm so long in the damn tooth with this. Like, God, no, like...
We're in a universe now, right, where Newcastle fans dislike the guy who scored the winning goal in our first cup in the domestic cup in 70 years more than we dislike Michael Owen.
He didn't, though. Burn scored the winning goal. Who's Isak?
Isak did score the goal. Let's be honest.
We're good. Shut up.
So
I'm done. Me, like
Joe's at the point where you let him sit in. He doesn't play. He doesn't train with the group. We pay him his wage and that's it. Yeah. Right, Nick. What are you thinking?
Oh, I don't know because how does he come back?
We're going to lose a lot of money.
Yeah, we are. How does he? My question is because there's a lot going on around the Isak thing. And I've got to be honest, for a long time, we've always wanted to, a lot of Newcastle fans have wanted to be this club that we're constantly in the news and we get spoken about in this big club. Got to be honest, don't like it. Stop it. Because I'm sick of Alexander Isak ruining my day. Every time I log on to flipping social media, it's, he's refusing to do this, he's refusing to do that. My question is, surely he's sat wherever he's sat and thinking, where the F do I go from here? What have I done? Because I think he's expecting the opposite of what's happening. I think he's expecting the opposite of what's happening. I think he's like, yeah, okay, off you go then. I think that's what he wants. Where that's clearly not happening, because hate to break it to Newcastle fans, but we are, by the time people listen to this tomorrow, we are 3 days out from our season starting, 4 days out. So he ain't going anywhere. And my stance on it is, oh God, you know what? I'm really torn, because a part of me wants to be really bitter and be like, do you know what? You're going to get what you deserve, and that's, quite frankly, you're going to be training with the under 21s probably, mate. Because there ain't no way that Eddie's going to manage to get you reintegrated back into the first team squad after what you've done to him.
Doesn't deserve it.
And he doesn't really deserve it either. But another part of me is like, it's a lot of money to be paying a player a week who wants to go on strike. So the other part of me is like, just get rid of him. And just, I'll be a hypocrite, because I did put on my Twitter earlier saying, sick of him ruining my day, get rid of him, get him gone, except but except, the next bid that comes in for him. And I think any fan that sort of will come, for some reason, everyone loves coming for me on the TikTok comments because I'm a woman and I'm sick of seeing it. And, if this was Kev saying, honestly, if this was Kev saying, just get him gone, people would be agreeing, but just get him gone, get him out of the club. It's a completely negative energy, not only for the fans and for the first team players, but I've got to be completely honest, this is not a good look for the club at all, because I think it's getting to the point, and I hate to say this because I know it's a business and I know football's football and transfer, but this is quite a toxic situation that's happening, and I think it's getting to the point where the club and the owners potentially are gonna have to come out and say something, because we are being dragged through the media. We're being dragged. Parts of the media are on our side, as we've just heard, and Sky Sports a lot of people are saying, it is. A lot of people are saying, well, Alexander Isak has screwed it for himself because it's a World Cup year. Absolutely. Then you've got the other half of the media, i.e. the Liverpool side of the media, who, with that lovely victim mentality, are saying, who run the media, who are dragging the club, and there's so many rumours circulating of like Newcastle are not letting Isak go, and he asked to leave 3 months ago. No, he didn't. Something has happened before that Celtic game that has made him go, I want to explore my options, which makes me think that his agent's been up to
not 3.
Yeah, not 3 months. Which makes me think that his agent's been up to nobody's business and has been just dropping little bombs here and there. So my personal stance is just get him gone, get him out. It's toxic, and I don't care how good you are, just get him out.
But the thing is, Nick, like, how much would you want from? Sorry, Kev, I'm just because my thing is, right, if we're going to take a reduced cost for him, I almost want him to be punished first. I don't want him to get his way, and we have to take a reduced cost. That's making us look like absolute mugs. It's making us look like he's literally won in the bullying stakes. I think that makes us, personally, like, it's everyone's different opinion, isn't it? But personally, I think that makes us look like idiots. So what, we've held off. Now he's gone on strike. Now we sell him for 70 or 80 million. What? That's literally having our pants down and doing whatever to us, because I'm sticking with let him rot. He's rotten in my eyes.
I think Nick said something really interesting about how the club looks, and I think that's an unbelievable point to make. So for me now, I don't think we're quite at the point yet where you're right, it is toxic, but I don't think we're at the point now where the club look bad. I think the club at the minute look ambitious. They've went for high-profile names who have missed out on fair play. They've said Isak's not for sale regardless, because it's just he's not going anywhere. We keep our best players now. That's what we are. We're not a selling club. It's not an Andy Carroll situation. We keep them. He's not going. However, now with this statement of I'm going on strike, this is where the big test is. Now, the club have to handle it properly. I agree with Joe. He's got to have some sort of, not punishment's a wrong word, because, going on strike is mental, but, do you fine him wages? So you could keep him, like you said, Joe, keep him for the whole year, but if he's not turning up to training or has no interest in playing, can you fine him 2 weeks' wages every 2 weeks? And then you're actually not paying him, and he just sits there and doesn't go to the World Cup. That
Surely
would be a messy situation. Not play. I'm not sure then how the kind of club comes across, but it would be a strong stance. The other option, I think personally, whatever happens now, the club should handle it with class. Now, I know that's hard for fans. We get emotional, but the club now have to handle this with class. Are we going? We will let Isak go. Maybe the statement now, like Nick said, they've got to come out and say. Maybe the statement now is, okay, we'll let him go. He clearly doesn't want to be here. We're bigger than any player, but we have to get 2 players in before he goes. If we can get 2 players in, you have our blessing. Off you go. Good luck at Liverpool. I think that's the way they've got to handle it now. That's really hard for fans to hear, and it's probably really hard for fans to swallow. We don't really mean good luck at Liverpool. What we mean is Liverpool finish 7th or 8th and he scores 10 goals and Salah drops off the boil completely. Ekitike flops. And all of a sudden we're looking thinking, you're 8th and we're 5th again. Woo! But the club have to come across as good luck at Liverpool. We'll let you go if we can get replacements in. Now the issue comes of the replacements. Wissa apparently is getting closer. Keith Downey said yesterday on a video that he hears that it's getting closer and closer and closer, but never actually hears anything new of it. It's actually happening. Liverpool were then apparently, I don't know how true this is, or if it's people winding people up. We're at that part of the transfer window now where there's lots of wind-ups happening. Apparently Liverpool were looking at Wissa. Now that would really upset people. Wissa as an Isak replacement for them. If we don't sell them Isak, it's Ekitike all over again. And Nicholas Jackson apparently wants to go to Newcastle in the Premier League because he doesn't want to go abroad. He wants to stay in the Prem and would pick Newcastle over Tottenham. I think mainly because Tottenham's Chelsea's rival or one of rivals, so he looks better leaving. Going to Newcastle. Imagine a player handling himself with class, saying, "You choose where I go."
Could never be Alexander Isak.
I think another realistic option for the club, and this is just let us know what you think, really. We will sell Isak. We come out and say, okay, he's up for sale, but not to Liverpool. You don't dictate where you go. There's not player power. We'll sell him to Saudi. We'll sell him to Juventus. We'll sell him to Barcelona. We'll sell him to Real Madrid. We'll sell him to Inter Milan. We'll sell him to AC Milan. We will sell you any other club in the world, but because of the way Liverpool have acted, threatening us with Ekitike and then getting Ekitike, then lowballing a bid of 110 million with no add-ons, and you are trying to control us as a club. You're not bigger than us, Isak. You are not going to Liverpool. We've told you you're not going to Liverpool. We stick by that, but you can go anywhere else if they meet the valuation. I think that could be a way of handling it, and I think Nick's kind of argument is we then look petty and we don't look like a big club, and that's what the club have to balance now. So I think the original one I give about 3 minutes ago of we'll sell you to Liverpool, we'll get replacements in first, best of luck. I think that's the way the club have to go. What I am really curious about is what happens to Isak next time he comes to St James's Park.
Joe Linton kills him and never plays again.
Do you know what I was just thinking? Sky Sports, if I'm allowed to mention them on here, knew exactly what they were doing, putting the Liverpool-Newcastle game on the Monday Night Football. That is going to be
right at the start.
One hell of a feisty atmosphere. It's going to be awful. Well, not awful. It's going to be good, awful, however you want to describe it. Yeah, it is.
I've got 2 things I want to do. One of them is just me going on a tiny little rant and replying to Liverpool fans. And my second one is actually asking you guys a question. So my first one, which is my little rant, is I know for a fine fact when this goes on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, there'll be loads of comments from Liverpool fans, right? Saying, oh, cry more, cry more, cry more. Get gone, right? You are comparing. I've seen Liverpool fans say, well, Suarez wanting to go to Barcelona. It's the food chain. It's this, that. We've lost players to Real Madrid like Xabi Alonso. And we've lost players to Barcelona like Luis Suarez and Coutinho. The difference is, you absolute simpletons, is that Suarez, Coutinho and Alonso never refused to play for Liverpool. Yep. That's what's getting us gone now. That's what's doing it. And now imagine Liverpool fans, if Suarez, Torres, Coutinho, whoever else you've lost to these bigger clubs, right, and it's a food chain, if any of them had went on strike, how would you feel about it? Would you be crying? I think you would, right? So I'm going to cry some more because he's went on strike and he's completely let everybody down. So there's my response to that one before you even comment. Anyway, 29 minutes in, I feel like he deserves a mention because we've actually signed a centre-back for £40 million from AC Milan. And he hasn't even been mentioned, the poor lad. Malik Thiaw. I know he's been briefly brought up on previous pods and he's been mentioned as, again, he's a young centre-half, 23 years old. He's a bit of a ball player, strong, physical. Looks like a really clever buy for us. I just want to get your thoughts very briefly, 1 minute each on Malik Thiaw, and then we will sign off.
Go on, Nick. I spoke about it last night. Go
on. Well, it's some positive news for once, isn't it? And it came out of nowhere. I was scrolling, I think it must have been yesterday, the day before, and I was thinking it was all Isak, and then it was him. But it's positive news we needed. We all know we need, some fresh centre-backs. Because it looks like Sven Botman's got the knees of an absolute turkey. And Obviously, we've got Fabian Schär, who's obviously aging very gracefully, may I add.
Very.
Yeah, what an absolute
Fine
guy.
wine.
So yeah, I feel like he will. I watched a little bit of him earlier, whilst I was on my lunch break, and
Share or
yeah,
She was stalking him
both.
or what?
All three of them. All three
I
of
was just
them.
walking through the people.
No, our newest one. And yeah, I feel like he'll integrate into Eddie Howe's team nicely, and probably the bit of positivity that Eddie probably needed as well.
Yeah, I agree. Anything like on last night's episode, Joe?
No, again, I just talked last night about just we needed the strength and depth, don't we? And taken away from all this mess that's going on with Isak, we've kind of almost forgot about the other positions that we needed to fill. So we've got Ramsdale in, we've got Thiaw in now. We did talk about some midfielders and stuff. Granted, there's kind of no real massive movement on that side of things. However, there's loads of rumours about Paqueta and
El Canute now.
However the hell you say his...
El Canute. We
touched on him last night as well.
We pointed him out last season as like Leicester's best player when they played against us. We were all impressed with him, so he's very exciting.
He's so young as well. He's only like 21 or something, isn't he? So he could be a great signing. And again, so we touched on stuff like this. So it'll be interesting to see how the kind of midfield situation moves on. I'm so bored of talking to the strikers. It's kind of nice to talk about the defence and midfield for a bit. They're like the forgotten part of the team all of a sudden. But yeah, look, like you said, right? It's finally some good news, which we hope will kind of snowball on a bit and bring in some more. That's what we need.
I still think this can be a really there's loads of positives. I know people comment or kind of give me feedback of you too positive, but there's still loads of positives. This whole Isak thing could create a siege mentality, us against the world. The players are already close together. Now that you don't want to be part of us, get gone. We're going to show everybody, but we're going to finish higher than Liverpool. Granted, it's very difficult to do. We've got a very good team. I'm not taking anything away from the team, but it could create that kind of mentality, which is brilliant. And I still think if we get one midfielder and two strikers in, we've done the rest. We've got the goalkeeper. We've got the centre-half. I think the Park, the young Korean lad, looks unbelievably promising. He could even get a couple of appearances this season as well. So one more midfielder, one more striker, because I'm classing Wisa as done, but that could be dangerous. But anyway, overall, two more strikers, one midfielder, and then Isak. I mean, Isak can go anyway. I think he's pretty much burnt his bridge now. Anyway, staying with the positives, Champions League football's coming up. The season starts this weekend. Away at Villa, we're going to batter them. Woo! And as well as football being back, we've got the likes of Lewis Hall, Tino Livramento, Fabian Schär, Malik Thiaw, Ramsdale, Pope, Tonali, Bruno, Big Joe, Little Joe, which is Willock, but again,
Big Jacob Murphy.
Big Jacob Murphs, Andy Langer and Gordon, fast as hell on the wing. We've got Barnes cutting inside and scoring. Just need a striker. Can we please sign a striker? And then this will be all okay. Anyway, loads to look forward to. There's our thoughts on Alexander Isak in a tiny little bit. Bless him, Malik Thiaw, £40 million signing from Milan, and he's went under the radar. Anyway, it is Daily Newcastle. Tune in tomorrow for another daily episode. Leave us some comments. Let us know what you think. Is Isak done? I think he is.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.